I stood in the hallway, frozen. I hadn't moved since opening the door. His words kept echoing in my head. I'm Michelle's husband, and the way Julia had crumbled under his gaze was burned into my memory. Our mom looked stunned, like her brain couldn't process the puzzle pieces she was suddenly being handed. Dad, on the other hand, looked unshaken, like stone. He didn't yell or react. He simply sat back down, arms crossed, lips pressed in a thin line. His disappointment felt like it filled every inch of the house. Julia sank into the nearest chair, trembling, wiping her face with the back of her hand. But this time no one rushed to comfort her. Not Mom. Not anyone. Finally, Mom broke the silence. Her voice came out dry, almost brittle. "Julia, is it true?" Julia nodded slowly, as if each movement carried the weight of her choices. And then everything started to unravel. Like a thread caught on a nail, tugged until the whole garment comes undone. She admitted she'd met him 3 years ago. At the time, he was separated, trying to adjust to single fatherhood. They started seeing each other while he was still technically married. After his divorce was finalized, she moved in with him. They secretly got married about a year ago, without telling anyone, not even our parents. But Julia eventually got restless. She said she felt confined, that she wanted more, someone her age, someone without baggage. So she started seeing someone new behind her husband's back, the man she's currently pregnant by. Mom sat down slowly, like the weight of the confession had knocked the wind from her. And the baby shower? It had been a cover, a distraction, a beautiful lie where she could pretend everything was perfect, where she could play the glowing mother-to-be, keep up appearances, and enjoy the praise without dealing with the wreckage she'd left behind. I didn't say a word through it all. I just observed. I watched the pedestal my mother had built for Julia finally collapse beneath her. I saw Dad rise from his seat without a sound and walk out of the room, his silence louder than anything. I watched Julia dissolve into tears, not just from guilt, but from the crushing realization that her carefully constructed fantasy had just crumbled in front of everyone. Mom turned to me, her eyes red, her voice cracked. "Why didn't you say something?" I blinked. Say something? I didn't even know she was married. "You could have warned us," she said. "Stop this." I let out a laugh, sharp and disbelieving. "You're blaming me now? You just humiliated me in front of every guest 20 minutes ago for not being married, and now you think I should have been the one to out her secret marriage and affair?" She looked away. And for the first time in years, that silence between us felt real, honest. I left after that. I didn't wait for an apology from Julia. I knew it wouldn't come. Not yet. Not when the shame was still fresh and she hadn't found a way to spin herself into the victim again. I figured that would be the end of it. But I was wrong. 3 days later, my phone rang. It was Dad. "Can we get coffee?" He'd never asked that before. When I arrived, he was already seated at a small table in a quiet cafe, stirring a now-cold cup of black coffee. He looked tired, older somehow. He didn't waste time. "I owe you an apology," he said. I stayed quiet, letting him speak. "We failed you," he said. "Your mother and I. We pushed you to be someone you weren't ready to be. Worse, we placed Julia on a pedestal so high that the only way down was a fall." I wasn't sure what to say. I didn't expect that kind of vulnerability. "You've always made your own way," he said, and I didn't appreciate that. But I do now. It didn't undo the years of mockery, of being overlooked, but hearing that mattered. It felt like the first crack of healing. Julia moved back in with our mother a week later. She said it was for emotional support. I suspected it was because her husband couldn't bear to look at her anymore. I heard from a mutual acquaintance that he filed for divorce immediately, requested full custody of their daughter, and moved to another state. He cut all ties. As for Mom, she tried to act normal again, but her edge had dulled. The passive-aggressive jabs, the comparisons, those stopped, at least with me. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe reality finally caught up to her. Then, one afternoon, I got a knock at my door. It was Julia. She looked worn down, like life had finally caught up with her, smaller somehow. "Can we talk?" she asked. I could have shut the door. Honestly, I thought about it, but I didn't. She sat on my couch like she didn't belong there. Her eyes darted around like she was trying to find a place to hide. "I ruined everything," she said quietly. "Yeah," I replied. "You did." She nodded. "I didn't mean to. It all happened so fast, and I felt trapped and—" "Julia," I cut her off. She went silent. "Stop explaining. Just say what you came to say." She swallowed hard. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was awful to you for years. And at the baby shower. I let Mom make you the punchline. I even laughed. I thought it would make me feel better, but it didn't." Her voice broke near the end, and for once, there were no excuses. Just remorse. "I forgive you," I told her, "but that doesn't mean I forget." "I know." We sat in silence after that. Not awkward, just a stillness between us, like we both needed a minute to process all the truths that had finally surfaced. Julia moved out of Mom's place later that month. She started seeing a therapist, got a job. She's still expecting, still trying to rebuild her life. We're not close, but we're civil. And for now, that's enough. As for me, I'm still living life my way. I don't need a husband to validate me. I don't need a baby to earn my family's pride. And I don't need their permission to be proud of myself. But I did keep one small thing from that chaotic day. When the guests left and the streamers came down, someone had left a single cupcake on the counter. Pink frosting, glitter sprinkles, a tiny edible bow. I took it home, not as a souvenir of disaster, but as a quiet reminder. That day, I didn't break. I didn't run. And when the truth finally knocked, it wasn't mine that was being exposed. It was hers. And just like that, the baby shower that started in judgment ended in truth, silence, and a kind of closure no one expected.